Well, good morning, everyone. Bright and early here on a Tuesday morning. This is Steve Murray with Insurance Agency Marketing Services, welcoming you to our webinar today with the coach, Dave Pimper. We're going to talk about the 401k IRA rollover game plan. As you can see from the screen that you should now see before you. Good webinar that we have on tap for you today. The idea here is to teach you a little bit about the 401k opportunity out there, to give you a game plan for reaching that demographic in that group using seminars. And we have a great teacher here with us today, Dave Pimper. Dave has done probably nearing about 500 now seminars on various subjects, from Social Security to financial planning, and now over the last 3 years he's added to that retinue of seminars of 401k IRA rollover game plan. So should be a great webinar here today. As always, there are a couple things to clear up, or not clear up, but kind of get out of the way. One is that you will have some polls that will pop up, and if you can hit yes or no, we're not all we're looking for is just your level of interest in certain things that we offer here at IAMS. And also, if you have any questions, I want you to go ahead and type them in and hit send, and we'll get them asked and answered of the group as we go along here. So should be a great webinar. Dave will be joining us very shortly. In the interim, I'm going to go ahead and run through a couple things that we do here at IAMS to help you grow your business. So again, welcome to the show, and let's get started. So first, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we do here that kind of monetarily help you grow your business. And we'll start at the bottom there, the marketing reimbursement program. As of now, we don't see any reason why we can't continue to offer that under the recent regulations on the DOL side. So we're going to continue to offer that for as long as we can. It's a pretty simple program. When you do business with us, we put money into your marketing reimbursement account. And then when you go ahead and use funds to grow your business, whether you're doing mailings or seminars, or whether you're doing advertising on TV, social marketing, building your website, whatever you're doing to help advance your business, you can send the receipt in for that, and we'll match your spend dollar for dollar. So it's a nice program, and one that hopefully encourages you to do what we think is the most important and underdone aspect of most folks' business, and that's the kind of the proactive marketing of them, because we know, just as you do, that there's a lot of folks out there right now that need the information that you have. It's just getting it out there and letting them know that you can help them with it. That's somehow sometimes the tricky thing to get done. So we want to help with that any way that we can, and marketing reimbursement is a big part of that. Up above there, you see we also have a referred producer program. This is a program that's near and dear to our hearts because it's probably the single greatest addition to the growth of IAMS since we were established 31 years ago, is a referral. Folks that think enough of what we do, how we do it, the programs that we offer, the incentives, the training that we do, the service that we offer, that submission to commission type program that we've really become kind of famous for within the industry. They think enough of that to recommend a colleague. Over the past 6 or 7 years, we've been rewarding that referral with a cash reward, as well as the normal thanks that you get for your referral. So the RPM program is pretty straightforward. When they get contracted with us, we send you a check for $50. That's great. Go out to lunch or dinner or whatever you can get for $50 these days. And then after that, that's when the real money starts, is because quarterly we send you out checks at the rate of 20 basis points, and we take that not out of your referees' business at all. We take that out of our marketing budget. So it doesn't affect your referees, what they get, how they get, what they receive, the incentives. Anything that we do for them is the same stuff that we do for you. And so that's a great little program to help you. And we know that a lot of that money the guys get from their RPM program goes back into building their business. So it's just win-win-win all the way around. We love that program. Love sending out both those marketing reimbursement and RPM checks. So I hope you take advantage of both of those programs. And I'm just looking at our list of folks, and this is one that seems to attract, I think, fewer new producers and more of our regular producers, which is great. But there are a couple of you on there that I don't think have begun to do business with us yet. So for you folks, just keep in mind that when you get licensed with us within the first 180 days, as you do business with us, you can tap into some rewards. And a lot of people, that join us at this webinar mostly interested in the $500,000 level, because that gets you mailing and coaching in the seminar. So when you do $500,000 annuity business with us, we're going to basically get you the coaching, the materials, and do your first mailing for you. So kind of get you in the seminar business if that's something that you want to do. So, but you can see there are other levels, lower levels you could also claim at, whether you just need a website, or whether you want to tap into more marketing reimbursement, or you want to get into Social Security business, or at the $500,000 level, you could even choose your own personal Ritz-Carlton travel package. So it's a great way for you to gain rewards for choosing to do business with IAMS out of the gate. So we do appreciate our new producers as much as we appreciate our producers, and hopefully you'll take advantage of that program to either reward yourself or grow your business. I want to talk about submission and commission. I'm going to keep this brief because I know you guys get bored hearing it, but I want to make sure that you know that here at IAMS, within the industry, we're recognized for that service, that kind of, once you do a piece of business and get it all the way through to getting commission out the door, we're as good at that or better at that than I think anybody in the industry. We put a lot of effort into it. We put a lot of time into it. We've got some great people that's just their job. And so when you do a piece of business, you're going to start getting pretty regular correspondence and calls from us about, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. This is what we need. This is done. Here's your commission. And so I know that doesn't necessarily all the time sell, but the bottom line is that in the end, we know that's really, really important to your business, and it can be quite time consuming for you. We want to take that off of your plate as much as we can and take care of it here. We've got some folks here that are just experts at getting your business in and out the door and making sure that everything's just right. Your training's in place, your licensing is right. We've got your E&O, everything that we need to get you going, got the app right, get in the system and get it back out the door and get you paid. So we think it's important. We know you do too. And I want to make sure that you know that we put a lot of effort behind that. Creative marketing solutions. If you have not taken advantage of some of these already, I hope that you will. We do as much of it as we can at no cost to you. We've got some great pieces that we can get personalized for you. When you come into our training events, we'll take pictures of you that we can then use on those brochures that you can hand out, use on your website, use on your business card. We're going to be pretty good at getting you image ready for doing business in our marketplace. And that's a little different. Sometimes you can go out, I know, and get business cards at some of these quick turnaround places, but they're not always the quality, don't have always the message. Sometimes you need a little help with that message. We're pretty good about that, getting your letterhead, getting your logo right. A lot of that stuff we're going to do for you at no cost. We do everything that we can for you at basically our cost or less. And so that's different. If you went to an ad agency and said, hey, help me with my website, that's going to be expensive and time consuming. If you come here and say, help me with our website, we're going to make it very cost efficient. And because we do it for people in the financial services profession all the time, and we have some of the templates set up, it's going to be really easy for you. Same thing with brochures and marketing solutions, and you're getting your Facebook things worked out for you and making that work for you. If you're not tapping into some of that stuff to help grow your business, give our marketing team a call. Ask for Tasia. She can give you an idea of how we do things and kind of assist along the way. Like I said, we do it not. We're obviously there's some cost to some of that marketing stuff, but we're not in that part of that business to make money. We're in that part of that business to help you make money, because when you make money, we make money, and we've got some great people. So I hope you'll take advantage of some of what we do on the creative marketing side. Website is one of those things. If you don't have a website, and I know, and I have this conversation daily, it seems like, for the past 7 or 8 years, websites you're not going to get a lot of traffic to your business from your website. But if you don't have a website, it can hurt your credibility. And if you don't have a good one, it may not make you look as good as you want to look. So it's not an expensive thing to do, but it is, an investment that I think most people should make if they haven't already. So I hope that you'll take some time. If you don't have a website, think a little bit more about that. Think about what you might want that to look like, and then give our folks a call and say, hey, I've done 100,000 with you. Can you get my website set up for me? Or, hey, I haven't done business with you yet, but I know I need a website. What's the cost of that? You'll find it's very, very inexpensive by design. We can get it set up for you and get you a template that will make you look pretty darn good right out of the gate. Then you can add to it as you go and start building that that online presence. Because, like I said, most guys would agree with me that your website is not necessarily going to bring you tons and tons of business, but it can prevent business coming from you if you're talking to somebody and they want to look you up on your website and you don't have one. So. Retirement Analyzer. So it's a software tool that we use. If you folks have looked into it at all on your own, you know it's a great piece. It's out there. The bottom line is that we're making it available. We're paying a monthly fee to make it available to a number of our producers. And if that's something that is of interest to you and you want to look at it, maybe even use it for 90 days and see how it might work in your business, give Marcus Solar a call. Basically, what you can do with that software is show your client where they're at today, where they want to be 15, 18, 20, 25 years from now, and then where they're tracking at in regard to where they are and what their goal is. And it does, as you can see before you on the screen, it does in a really easy to understand way for your client. So you're going to like how that works. It takes a little time to kind of put some things into the system. It's very comprehensive, but what you get out is very, very beneficial. And right now, we're making that available to you at no cost. So it's a really nice thing that we're doing here at IAMS. And if you're not taking advantage of it, you're thinking you might want to use software like that, then give Marcus a call and let him walk you through how it works and see, try it out for a month or 2 or 3, see what you think of it, and let's go ahead and help you grow your business that way. It's really a nice tool. IAMS Wealth Management. I'm going to shoot up a quick poll here while I talk about this. So I don't know how many of you have considered including wealth management or Series 65 in your business. For those of you that haven't, I would say that over the next year or 2 or 3, that's probably something you're going to want to consider more closely. I don't know what the regulatory environment is going to bring, but I do know, for instance, with the DOL regulation that a portion of it is in force and it may get fully enacted, or it may get redone. There may be some significant changes. There may be very little change that goes on, but we're kind of in a delay period there. But I do know that if that had gone into action the way that it was supposed to back in April, and then again back in June when it was supposed to, that would, that wealth management or this having a Series 65 would have been very, very beneficial. Is that going to be the same going forward with new regulation? I don't know. So put that in kind of in the back of your mind and say, I might need that or I might not. It might be very, very important to my business going forward, or it may just be something that I might want. And now let's take and think about the might want part of that. So what we have learned is that folks that have a Series 65 do more annuity sales. People that have a Series 65 get in front of folks that have a larger amount of wealth. And what we've also learned is what is done is not that difficult. And we've simplified it as much as we can. We have a group of basically 10 portfolios that your client and you together kind of choose from. And a lot of the active management of those funds is done by very highly professional and very experienced folks within the wealth management business that know that business very well and how it works, and they're able to put those portfolios together. You simply do a fact finder, kind of find out where your client fits, spend some time with them, see how their risk tolerance is, find out what portfolio best fits them, and then the daily active management of those funds is done by those portfolios. So it's a very easy way to do business, and what we've done with some of our guys, especially a lot of folks that kind of have come from the insurance side of the business and are relatively new to the wealth management part of the business, we've helped them kind of on a step-by-step basis so that they've gained more comfort with the way that the wealth management system works, and kind of been able to help them through the process and make it very easy, not only to do the wealth management, but also introduce wealth management into their practice. So it's been a very nice addition to our offerings here at IAMS Wealth Management. Charles Hiring is the individual that oversees that. He would love to chat with you. If you check yes on this poll, we'll send you a little bit of information, and the information will really be twofold. It will be information about IAMS Wealth Management, and then information also on how to get your Series 65. I know that some of you out there already have your 65, so obviously you could skip that part of the information and go right to the what IAMS Wealth does. What I think you'll find is that what we offer and the fee structure that we make available to you and the costs that are part of the being involved in wealth management are relatively low. The fee payout is relatively high, and what we do for you on the service side is unequaled by anybody I've seen on the wealth management side to this point. That's really been the secret sauce to our success for many, many years now in the insurance business, and we think it will work also in the wealth management business, is that if you get good people and apply really good service, you're going to have good results, and we know that that's going to happen for us on the wealth management side as well. Relatively new part of our business, launched last January. Love the opportunity to help you with that. So I know that many of you have voted, some of you have not. For those of you that have not voted, if you were unable to, simply give me a call or call here at 800-255-5055 and ask for Charles Hiring. He'll be glad to walk you through everything that you need to know about that. With that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and close this poll out.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Dave.
How are you doing?
Good, good. We're just finishing up here, going over a few things. Thank you for joining us. One thing that I wanted to mention, we've got the Life and Annuity Academy coming up, and I'm going to put up another quick poll there. So the next one that we're going to have is not going to be until probably February, maybe even early March of 2018. So for those of you that are familiar with our academies, have heard a little bit about them, you know that they've kind of become gained some renown within the independent producer marketplace because they're, number one, we take care of the cost. Number two, they're really sales and marketing focused more than anything else. And we've got a lot of good information that we make available. So for that reason, just by word of mouth, we've gotten a lot of interest in our academies. We've been doing them now for 10 or 12 or probably, I guess we're coming up on 13 years or so. That's how we met Dave, for instance, just to show you how long we've been doing it. Was he came to one of our Life and Annuity Academies many, many years ago. So they're great events. If you haven't been to one and you have interest and want to learn a little bit more about it, hit yes on that poll. And all that's going to happen is that you're going to get a form that basically it's an itinerary of the event, and you can look at that and say, okay, this might be of interest to me. If it is, then there's also a registration form, and when you send that registration form back, that lets us know that you're interested. And then next year we'll have 3 or 4 of them, as we always do, and we'll see if that fits into your schedule. If we don't have a registration form, we assume that you're not interested, and so you don't get an invitation to that event. So getting that registration form back if you are interested in attending is very important. So if you hit yes on that poll, you'll get a sample agenda, which is the agenda for this meeting. We've got a meeting starting tomorrow. That'll be our last one of the year, and it'll be the agenda for that meeting. So it'll be as new and fresh as we have, and it's very close to what we'll be doing then in February. So if you have interest, hit yes, you'll get an agenda, you get a registration, send that registration back, and we'll get you on tap for one of our academies for next year. We got some great presenters there. As you can see there, we've got 4 producers that present. Dave is one of them. And he does his 401k and Social Security seminars, so 2 seminars there. Matt Gill does his kind of insurance annuity-based seminar. John Enting has got a really great kind of product that works very well with folks that are primarily in the annuity market. He walks through and does a whole sales process for you. And then we have Anthony Lawrence, and Anthony will talk a little bit about kind of becoming your own banker a way through life insurance. You can kind of grow your assets and depend less on banks and things like that for loans and such. So great programs. The key, I think, more than anything else, is that most of the presentations are producer driven. So we do talk about product, and we'll have some carriers in and they'll talk a little bit about product, and they'll have some sales ideas. We'll do some presentations on some of the things that we do here at IAMS, including some great sales ideas and ways to grow your business. But it is sales and marketing driven more than anything else. So if you have any interest at all in coming in, simply hit yes. Again, looks like we've got about the same number of people that have voted. So I'm going to close that poll out here shortly. If Again, if you were unable to vote for whatever reason, simply give us a call here at the office at 800-255-5055. Just tell us you'd like to have a sample agenda and registration form, and we'll get that right out to you. In the interest of time, I think I'll go ahead and move along here. I'm going to close that poll out, and now we're going to talk about the 401k IRA rollover game plan with Dave Pemper. I've told you a little bit about Dave before he joined us, a little bit about his history, his number of seminars he's done. We're going to talk a little about 401ks, how they work, and some of the information you need to know to begin to be useful to your clients' net marketplace, most of which you may know, but some I bet you certainly will not. And then we're going to talk about seminars and how they work to grow the business with the coach. So, Dave, if you want to take a minute, tell them just maybe a little bit more about your history, and
Sure.
We'll get started.
Sure. And Steve, I just want to let you know, for some reason, I talked to Josh earlier in the IT department with IAMS. I cannot get on for some reason. I don't know what the deal is. So
Okay.
You're going to have to kind of walk me through each slide to make sure that I'm on. And I've got a card copy here,
Okay.
which everyone be okay. So I apologize for that, everybody. But sometimes technical things can slow down, but hopefully we'll be just fine here. So is the slide on the 401k IRA rollover game plan, is that with the three people, is that the first slide here, Steve? Or we can get to that?
Yep, I will go to that right now.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, and my name is Dave Pemper. I want to first thank everyone for being on board with us today. Every other week we do a webinar that Steve Murray with IAMS, co-owner of IAMS, and myself that we present. And one of the ways that we do seminar marketing is through seminars. In fact, I've got a seminar a week from tomorrow. This one happens to be on Social Security, but Social Security and then 401ks, IRA rollovers, there no doubt there are two strongest seminars out of the 4 or 5 that we have under the IAM seminar series. Seems to have the best results as far as getting monies under management. And there's no doubt that with myself, I'm 62 years of age, proud of it, been in the business since 1981, so that's 30 plus years. And I was insurance for the first 3 years, then I got into securities in 84, and I have worked securities with some type of fixed or fixed indexed really ever since, as far as working with my guaranteed folks. So maybe 75-80% is from the security side, and about 20 or 25% is from the fixed index side. And those types of seminars are non-product. And what we're trying to do is gain their trust through giving great information and great knowledge, in the hour presentation. The 401k IRA rollover game plan seminar is a workshop that has a meal that's involved with it. Now, it's not strong enough on its own. We've had people try this in a library setting or a community center setting without any kind of meal, and it just seems that there has to be enough draw, and it's kind of a social event. So we do have this as a dinner seminar. If you have any questions, certainly type those in. Steve says, I cannot see those. I'd like you to read those off if they do come in from time to time. If not, we can answer those at the end of the presentation. Then we'll go to the next slide. And I'll have to just say, is this the one, Steve, that says, how much do you really know?
Yep.
Good. So just as you're going here, and we can go to the first question. And it says, you make your initial Roth IRA contribution for the 2015 tax year on April 15th of 2016. How many years do you have to wait to withdraw all of the money out tax-free? So we know that in a Roth, tax-free Roth, the money going in is after tax. So that, of course, you can take that out. You've paid tax on it. That's tax-free. But how about the earnings? How long do you have to wait? We're taking a little quiz here. So write down your answer. Okay, Steve, you can go to the answer. Well, everybody thinks it's 5 years, but you know what? It's really only 3 years and 8.5 months. And the reason is any money going into a Roth IRA contribution always backdates to 1/1 of the year it was put in as far as the 5 years concerned. So unless you put it in on 1/1 of that year, then it's always going to be shorter than a 5-year time period of waiting for that. Pretty interesting. Question number 2. What type of trust do you have to establish for your IRA when your intent is to make sure that your designated or the human beneficiary within that trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral for their lifetimes? What kind of trust do you need to set up? It's a specific kind of trust. Okay, answer please. The look-through trust or see-through trust. That's a type of a conduit trust. It looks through to see who the heartbeat beneficiaries are. So it can't just be a basic living trust. It has to be a specific type of conduit trust. Okay, number 3. What type of trust do you have to establish for your non-IRA with an annuity when your intent is to make sure that designated human beneficiaries within that trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral or so that you're able to inherit that money? What kind of trust? This is a trick question, guys and gals. Answer, please. Can't be accomplished with this type of trust. It can only be within an IRA. 5-year rule payout comes into play only. And lastly, what's per stirpes mean when we're talking about beneficiaries? Per stirpes. Any idea? Answer? Per stirpes means by root or by branch. So if there was, say you had a husband and wife dies, husband has all the assets of the IRA, he dies, the 2 kids. Let's say one of the kids is that passed away, and we forgot to change that on the form. It would go down through his bloodline. That's what per stirpes means, a Latin word meaning per, by root, by branch, by tree, by bloodline. Per capita means per head. If one of the sons died, didn't change beneficiaries, all of the money would go to the other son. Nothing would go to the family whatsoever. Yeah, interesting. So the reason I do those is just really just to kind of show you that you know there's a lot of questions out there in retirement planning that people don't know. A lot of agents don't know. We can go to the next slide. This one should say potential rollover options for your 401k, 403b, 457. I consider the 401k, 403b, 457, those are all really twin brothers and sisters. It's triplets. 401k is company retirement plans. Could be pre-taxed or it could be after-tax. It could be Roth in each one of those, but it's for-profit. 403b is non-profit. 457 is a deferred comp plan with government. So here's the things you can do. And how this seminar is set up, it talks about you can do nothing, and then we talk about the pluses and the negatives of doing nothing. You could roll over to a new company retirement plan, pluses and negatives. Take a lump sum distribution. There is a positive, mostly negatives. Convert to a Roth IRA, rollover transfer to a traditional IRA. Where do we make our money as agents and brokers? Yeah, we make it through a producer, through the rollover and the transfer to a traditional IRA. And I'll give you just a great example of just how this works. So 2 weeks ago, we had a 401k IRA rollover workshop. We had it on Tuesday night and on Thursday night. And on Tuesday night, I had a client come. I do not take my clients. I do not go in and screen them from the list, filter them from the list. And one of my clients came, and I have all of his wife's 401k, and I got quite a bit of his. And I knew he had other outside money, but I knew he was working with another broker, or that's what I thought anyway. So he comes to the 401k workshop, signs up for an appointment. So I said, well, I called him and I said, we'll just do a review at that same time and then see if I can answer any questions. Well, we get all done, and he has $409,000 that he transferred from his old employer 2 years ago to a new employer. He wanted to go in their 401k. I thought it went with his other broker. And he says, Dave, he said, I'm going to have you give me some ideas. He said, I'm really afraid. He has nothing guaranteed. He said, I'm afraid of where the market is. He's 69 years old. He said, I think the market's going to take a big crash. And he said, with the exception of money market, there is virtually nothing. I don't have any options in this plan for any kind of guarantees. I wish I could do something. Well, what I asked him was, I said, do you have an in-service withdrawal plan? He said, I heard you say that in the workshop, but he said, I've never heard of us having one. Vanguard is his custodian. We called Vanguard up. Sure enough, he has part of it in traditional and part of it in Roth, both 401k. And sure enough, he has an in-service non-hardship withdrawal, meaning if you're over 59 and a half, which he's 69, he can go in and take monies out without any kind of penalty and continue to work with the company, which he wants to work till next April. Yeah, so I'm proposing tomorrow on $409,000 only because he came to the workshop. Isn't that something? Happens to be a current client. You think you got all of your current clients' monies, but I guarantee you probably don't. Yeah. Seminar's really open, and I'm sure I'll get, I mean, I've done a good job with his other investments, and he knows that I have. Yeah. So let's go into the next and talk about do nothing. Leave your 401k where it is. Yeah, that's what you could do. As long as your plan will allow you to keep it there. Normally, if it's $5,000 or more, they will allow you to do that. And if you do nothing, it just automatically stays there. Now, is that the best thing to do? It may not be. But, you know, a lot of people are kind of lazy when it comes to this, and they just don't want the hassle of going in and having to move it somewhere, okay? We go to the next slide. So why leave your investments in your current 401k plan? Well, here's something a lot of people don't know. If you're 55 and over as of age, you can go in, and if you left it with your past employer of your 401k, you can go in and you can take money out at 55 without any kind of a 10% penalty. Remember the 59.5-year rule? If you're under that, there's a 10% penalty of taking out retirement plans. Not if it's the company who you work for and you left it there. Interesting, huh? Now, other considerations in Nebraska, where I live, ERISA, who oversees the 401k and company retirement plans, etc. The creditor protection usually is stronger with company plans than it is with an IRA. In Nebraska, it doesn't make much difference. They're both very hard to get. If you went bankrupt, they're very hard to get through a lawsuit. But that could be a reason in your state. Maybe you want to leave it in your plan just because you're familiar with the investment choices. You're familiar with Vanguard, you're familiar with Fidelity, you're familiar with American Funds or T. Rowe Price. Yeah, maybe you're familiar. Not the best reason, but it could be a positive reason. Could offer lower fees. And then I always say that could offer higher fees. So get a load of this. If you don't have an income rider, how much fees internally are there in a fixed or a fixed indexed annuity? 0 fees. There's a surrender charge. There's a cap or participation on a fixed indexed, but is there any internal fees? No, there's not. So I say here that may offer lower fees, but you know what? It could offer higher fees, your 401k, than the investment you're going into. And then a reason people keep it there is just an easier choice. Yeah, no decision has to be made. Maybe not the best reason, but that certainly is a reason. We go to the next slide. Roll your retirement company funds to a new company retirement plan. And I'm not going to go through each one of those because you can kind of see that on the screen. I can't, but everyone else can. But I do add to this investment choices. I do add service and guidance. I do add to this loan provisions. Those could have all been on the first one too, leaving it the same one. But I just wanted to add to it a little bit on this. Let's go to the next slide. Page 7. Take a lump sum distribution. Want to hear an amazing figure? Of all the company retirement plans out there, 54% of the people take it out and pay taxes on it when they retire. How sad is that? Now, the majority of the people we work with have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not millions of dollars in their 401k that you run across. And they're a little more sophisticated, a little more money, a lot more taxation. They probably don't, but a lot of people do. But if you take it out as tax as ordinary income, there's no more tax deferral. It's going to be taxed year in and year out. The tough thing here is if you've got $100,000 and you take out in a lump sum, the government's going to withhold 20%. So the company withholds 20%, sends it to the government because the government doesn't trust you that you're going to pay for those taxes in a timely manner. You do have 60 days to roll it on over again, and if you do that, to make whole of the $100,000, you got to come up with $20,000 out of your pocket from savings or another investment. Not easy to do for a lot of people. But there is a good reason to go into cash out with a portion of the plan, and it's called net unrealized appreciation. So let's go to the next slide, number 8. What is NUA? So I'm just going to make this simple. Let's say you work for IBM, and you've been putting into IBM stock for years and years, 25, 30 years. You got $400,000 in your 401k. 300,000 are in mutual funds. 100,000 value is in IBM stock. If you want to use net unrealized appreciation, here's what happens. You go in and look what your cost basis is on your IBM stock. And let's just hypothetically say it's $25,000. So you have $25,000 of actual cost basis. You have $75,000 worth of growth. It's worth $100,000 total. Now, if you keep it in an IRA and it rolls on over, or you take it out of your 401k, 100% of your money is taxed at ordinary income tax when it comes out, correct? Yes. But if you go and use NUA, here's what happens. By the end of the year, it has to all be taken out by the end of the year. Say you take your 300,000 mutual funds and you roll it over, say it just goes into a fixed indexed annuity. They want guarantees. You take the $100,000, you roll it over into a personal brokerage account. Now, with your insurance license only, you can't do that. But if you have a securities license, you can. And I know some people here on the line of us have that securities license, but you roll that into a personal account. When you roll that $100,000 in a personal account, you've got to pay taxes of ordinary income taxes on just the $25,000. That's it, just the $25,000. The $75,000, whenever you sell that stock from IBM, it's now taxed as a long-term capital gain. It's a big deal. You've changed ordinary income tax to long-term capital gain. So what are the two things that are most important to have a savings here for you tax-wise? It truly has to be a highly appreciated stock. It has to be of the company. It can't be Microsoft stock in an IBM company. It has to be IBM, the company publicly traded stock. And not just highly appreciated, you have to be in a high enough tax bracket that it makes a big difference. So if you're in a 10% bracket, it may not be that big a deal. But if you're in a 28% bracket or higher, yeah, it's a pretty darn big deal of paying ordinary income tax versus long-term capital gains. Next slide. It says experience is a good school, but the fees are high by Henry Kiney. Yeah, you know what? You make a mistake in this kind of business, in the retirement rollover business, I'm telling you what, it can be very costly. In fact, it can cost you as much as 50%. If you're one day late on taking your RMDs out, required minimum distributions, one day late, the government has the right to go in and to fine you 50% of the money. So if you're at $100,000, you're taking out $5,000, they can fine you $2,500 for being one day late. Isn't that something? Next slide. Now, I'm not going to go through all of this. You can kind of get the feeling of how this workshop looks. We're talking about Roth IRAs here. That's a tax-free versus tax-deferred with deductibility. No benefit up front, but there's a huge benefit on the back end. And I always ask people, everybody in this room, no matter if a Republican stays in office, in the House or the Senate, or whether a Democrat or independent, how many people think in 10 or 15 years from now that we're going to be paying less income taxes? I don't care what proposal's out there right now. Every hand's going to think we pay more, just the way it is. And I'll say, so that means that tax-free will be worth more down the road than it's worth now. Yep. And that's why more people are putting in to Roth that are tax-free than to traditional that are tax-deferred but is taken out down the road as ordinary income tax. And I go through the 5-year hold, which is really could be 3 years and 8.5 months. No required minimum distributions on Roth, for the husband or the spousal, just to the kids, but there's no taxes on it. After 70 contributions, you can't do that with an IRA, but you can certainly do it with a Roth if you got earned income. There are income brackets, and I talk about those. all of the language are on the slides, and the language is very, very good. Very good. I mean, I wrote all of the language on every single slide. Roth conversions. Talk about taking traditional to a Roth. The bad thing here is you got to pay for taxation on it, don't you? And so we walk through that, and we talk about partial Roths. Maybe there's $100,000 on a conversion, and you don't want to get killed on taxes, so you take $10,000 out a year for 10 years. Yeah, partial conversions. And you could possibly reduce or even eliminate tax on Social Securities, because municipal income tax is figured in provisional income for Social Security for taxation, but Roth, tax-free Roth money is not, or Roth conversion gain is not. Next slide. Recharacterizing, that means the oops rule. You're going to recharacterize. You're going to go in and you're going to redo it. And we talk about, why would you do that to a Roth conversion? I mean, maybe you just had a change of heart. Just don't want to pay the taxes. You had $20,000 coming out. It's going to cost you $6,000 of taxes. Just don't want to pay the taxes, or don't have the money. You don't have to have any reason. It's like the Walmart rule. You can return anything for any reason. I didn't like the color. Smelled bad. Got up on the wrong side of the bed. Walmart's going to take it back, just like you can do with the Roth conversion. Oops, I'm going to change my mind. One of the reasons that a lot of people convert is if fixed index is not going to be affected, or fixed annuities, because you can't go down in value. But let's say, for example, you owned Equifax stock. You know, it's down about 30% for the year, maybe even more. Let's say there's 100,000. You converted it from a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. You got to pay taxes on that 100,000. Well, now all of a sudden the value's worth 70 because of Equifax's all the hacking stuff that went in. Well, you can go in and just say, hey, I'm going to redo it. I'm going to act like it's never happened. Now you got to wait 30 days, or the next year, whichever comes first. January 1 of the next year, or 30 days. Normally it's January 1 unless you recharacterize in December. But then if it's 70,000, now you recharacterize $70,000, or you go in and convert 70,000. Only pay taxes on 70 instead of 100. That's one of the reasons that people will recharacterize or oops the Roth rule. You can't recharacterize in a 401k. Can't. You can only do it with an IRA. Interesting. Next slide. How do you move your 401k to an IRA? Well, there's two ways. There's indirect rollovers and there's direct rollovers, or indirect rollovers and direct transfers. The direct transfers or direct rollovers, that's like attorney and lawyer. Custodian to custodian or trustee to trustee, it means the same thing. So what happens is you're actually not handling the money on a direct rollover. It's going trustee to trustee. Or like my fellow tomorrow, we can just call on in. They're going to mail the check out to him, but it's made out to the new custodian. He cannot cash that check. An indirect rollover is completely different. An indirect rollover is where you take the money, it's made out to you. You put it into your bank account. Now, what happens on an indirect rollover from your 401k, they're going to take out 20%, aren't they? Yeah, they are. Now, if it's from IRA to IRA, they don't take 20% out. But if it's IRA to IRA, you can only do one of those a year. Every 365 days, if you have 10 IRAs, you can only do one indirect rollover per year. You can do as many direct rollovers as you want to. Let's go to the next slide on 14. So it talks about indirect rollovers. Yeah, that 60-day time limit. You have to roll it over to not pay taxes on it. You can only do one rollover per every 365 days. That was enacted a couple years ago. It comes from a company plan. They're going to take 20% out. We do not like indirect rollovers. I mean, I did one this year just because the bank wouldn't directly roll it over, but we try like heck not ever to do them. How about the next slide, under 15? Direct rollover transfer, custodian to custodian or trustee to trustee. Yeah. So this is when the assets are sent directly and they never come to your hand. You know what I love about this picture too? Look at those. Those are actually pre-retireds, and they look young and happy, don't they? Yeah, but they're doing the right thing. They're directly rolling over the money. No 60-day rule. Can do as many as you want in any kind of 12-month period. No 20% mandatory if it's coming from the company plan, 401k plan. Yeah, they're sent directly to the new custodian. Next slide. So IRAs, yeah, we're talking about company plans, but IRAs, yeah, as we know, there's lots of IRA rollovers. And the reason that people do them normally because there's more investment options or different investment options that fit their needs better. You continue the tax deferral. Fees. Fees aren't everything, but the nice thing about fixed index and fixed is that internally there is no fee. There is a surrender. There is a cap or participation, but or a length of time period to hold. Yeah. A lot of people just want to keep it simple when they get at retirement if they had several accounts before. Next slide, 17. Now I'm going to go through those pretty quick as we're kind of getting through this, but we talk about beneficiary options. You leave it blank. If you leave it blank, what's that called? You die intestate. Who decides where your money goes? Government. It probably will go to the right place, to a spouse or to the children, but it may not. Don't ever leave it to the government to decide where your money goes. You can name your estate or your will. That's better. You don't die intestate, but it's going to go through probate. Is it bad to go through probate? Not if it's real estate, say, where it steps up. But if it's a beneficiary item, why pay a lawyer to go in and probate a beneficiary investment, like an annuity, like an IRA of sorts? Could be your spouse if married, your children, your grandchildren. Charity. And I'll tell you what happens is that the beneficiary is a big deal. In fact, I'll tell you something. I read this. It's been quite a few years ago now, but it was up in Beloit, Wisconsin, Fairbanks Industry, still around, big manufacturing firm up in the northern Midwest. And a fellow went right out of high school, got married at 19, got divorced at 21, worked at Fairbanks, got remarried in 2-3 years, had 3 kids, gets killed in a car wreck, worked for Fairbanks his whole life, gets killed at Fairbanks when he's 64 years old. He's got like $431,000 in his 401k. Guess who the beneficiary of that 401k is? It's his first wife. So in his will, of course, was correct. Current wife, current children. This went all the way up to the highest court. Guess who got $431,000? Yep, his first wife did. That's a bad day for you, unless you're the first wife. Beneficiaries, they will go in and trump what's in your will. So it's very, very important that you get it right. And we talk about trust here. So before that, it says, I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by 4 o'clock. And then you just don't want that to happen to you. So let's go in and talk about stretching your beneficiary. And this is called inherited IRAs. So we talk some different things here about inheriting your IRA. That just basically, is going over to a child whose life expectancy is longer than what yours is. So they still have to take an RMD out, required minimum distribution, but it stretches out the length of time period. They have to go in and do that. We see a lot of parents right now that use, it isn't just husband to wife. It might be husband to wife gets 90 and the 2 kids get 5. Or it could be that you stretch it out even further. The wife gets 80, the 2 kids get 5, and the 2 grandkids get 5. As secondary contingent beneficiaries. Yeah. Well, what do you got to take out when you're 20 years of age and you get $10,000 from your grandma and grandpa? You might have to take out 0.5%. It's $50. If it grows more than 0.5%, it grows, keeps growing. It's really a neat thing for a wealth transfer. But talking about stretching, in this next slide, 20, you have to properly title it. Yeah. John Doe Sr., the dad, IRA when he died, for the benefit of his son, the beneficiary, has to look something like that. Has to be a direct transfer of fund. It can't be rolled over or it eliminates the stretch. You have to designate the beneficiary by September 30th of the next year after death. Got to start taking RMDs by December 31st, of the year. Yeah, after the death of the owner. So 9/30 is when you have to have it done by. It's the 31st of the next year is when your first RMD comes out. The RMD is figured a little differently with inherited IRAs than normal IRAs. And here's a real funny thing: contingent beneficiary eligibility players list. You know why? When you're still living, let's say your daughter, you're going to go in and you're going to say, you know what? You can use your brother, your sister, you could use your mom, you could use any of your aunts and uncles, you can use your next door neighbor. But if you make a list of 10 people, after you're dead, she has to go in and use that member list. So if she rides off with the Hell's Angel, if he's not on the list, she can't do it. You can, from your grave, you can dictate of who the beneficiaries are going to be. But you didn't know that. And neither does anyone else in the attendance at your seminar. See, when you're given a seminar like this is very educational in nature. Most agents, most producers really don't understand all of the ins and outs of 401ks, IRA rollovers, Roth conversions, beneficiaries. And we finish out with, in-service plans, QLAC, 72Ts, Social Security. I mean, it's just a lot of thrown out information. We're throwing a lot of hooks in the water. And we're just saying, hey, if something here tonight hit home with you, if there's something that you want to learn more about, mark yes on the consultation sheet, and we'll meet at a no cost, no obligation for yourself. Yeah, that's the whole goal. The goal of the seminar is not to sell. The goal of the seminar is to professionally advise, professionally educate your group of people where they look at you as the expert and they say, we want more of Dave Pimper. We want more of that advisor. We need to pick his brain. Yeah, very, very important. So next one, per capita versus per stirpes. Remember, we talked about that on beneficiaries, so I'm not going to go through it again. Next slide, required minimum distributions. We talked about that. RMDs. Well, they start at 70.5. So on your 70.5 birthday, at the end of that year, you got to take out, or the very first year, you actually can take out to April 1st of the next year, just that year. That's only the first time. Other than that, so you got to take out on the 31st. You look at what your balance is after 70.5 on the 31st of the year you turn 70.5, and then you have to take it out by the December 31st of the next year. And it starts out at 3.65%. So if you have 100,000 on all of your IRAs, you got to take out $3,650. Next year it goes up. Next year it goes up. It just keeps going up, 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 up. So what's supposed to happen? You die like at 100, and you've taken out your last penny out of your retirement plans. Now, is there a way to get around taking deferral out? And I'll say this: 401ks are a little different than IRAs. 401ks, you've got to take them out individually. So if you got 3 401ks, one's worth 100, one's worth 300, one's worth 50. You got to take out money from each individual one. IRAs, you can have 20 of them and just take them out of 1, out of 2, out of 5, out of 20. Makes no difference at IRAs, but it's very specific on 401ks of how you do it. And a QLAC, qualified longevity annuity contract, on slide 23, we'll do this first. And I throw in those kind of funny things by Arthur Godfrey. Actually, listened to him on radio when I was 4 years old. We used to listen to him with radio and drinking Coca-Cola, having popcorn. It says, I am proud to be paying taxes in the United States. The only thing is I could be just as proud for half the money. Don't pay out more taxes than you need to. The next slide, and you know what? I actually talk about QLACs there on another slide in my real workshop. I don't on this to save time. This is about 65% of all the slides that I'm showing you here today of the presentation. It does have a FINRA review letter with it. I put this workshop together. IAMS did all of the artwork and PowerPoint, so it's kind of a partnership. But in-service non-hardship withdrawal is the one that I got coming tomorrow, 400,000 plus. Yeah, he found out that as long as you're 59.5 and working for the company, he can take out a portion or all of the money, which he's looking at taking out all. He wanted to do it in April anyway, but he's concerned about the market taking a big hit, and he doesn't want to get caught up in that. Pretty neat, huh? and then they ran those checks directly to him, made out to the new custodian. So that's called an in-service non-hardship withdrawal plan. 70% of the Fortune 500 have it. The smaller the company, the less likely it is to have this type of option, but it's great. You can free up money. If you're 59 and a half or older and you have this option, you can take money out and still continue to work there with no penalty at all taking it out. I talk about 5 rules to know when working with an in-service withdrawal provision. Okay, next slide, number 26. Consider using IRA money and delaying Social Security. If you know nothing about Social Security, you might not want to put this slide in. But I teach and coach a lot of Social Security. I have a Social Security workshop. It's a hot topic right now. I think those are the 2 hotter topics for workshops. The 401k IRA rollover, you may not get quite the amount of people there, but the people that come in, they're in there for a reason. They have money normally. Social Security, you've got to transition from Social Security in looking at their assets in the plan. But you know what? A lot of people don't even think about taking Social Security, delaying that, and earning the 8% from 66 to 70 per year plus COLA. So now it's 10% a year, and taking 401k or IRA money. The government forces you to take money out of 70.5. Why don't you take it out on your own accord earlier than that and let your Social Security grow? So we talk a little bit about this on this slide. Next slide. So at the end here, and I'll just go through this real quick, but we talk about this from here out. Steve, just kind of go with me on this. I'm going to just kind of do exactly what I say at the workshop, okay? So I say, folks, let's do this. In your green packet on your desk, you've got a workshop evaluation form. It's yellow. Let's take that out. And I walk around, get close to them. They take it out. I said, let me first say this. You can mark yes or you can mark no if you want a consultation. If you have marked no already before I got done, we're starting from scratch. Everyone, if you mark no, cross through the no. I want a clean sheet. Please cross through it. We're starting from scratch. If you mark yes on this for a consultation, here's what happens is that you will go in. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I jumped ahead a little bit because there's a slide before. There's a lot to think about. You really don't know everything and so forth. But what I do on this is I talk about that no obligation consultation, and I don't have all the slides. I was thinking that I had the slides here, but I don't because I'm trying to save some time. But I talk about procrastination, and I'll say procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop tomorrow. And people laugh, and I'll say, you know what? Procrastination, I've been doing this business for 30 plus years. I don't think I've ever had anyone come to me and say, Dave, I've gotten rich from procrastinating through the years. It's the people who take action. Those are the people who are most successful. Then I have them bring the consultation form out. I say you can mark yes, write down there's a date and the time that you want the consultation. Be a little flexible because sometimes we'll have a lot of consultations and sometimes they book up on each other. But I'll say put down a date, time, phone number where we can get a hold of you. Let's be professional. If you mark yes, then we're going to call you tomorrow to just verify that time works for us, okay? It'll take an hour, and I will say this, and I go to the next slide, and then Steve, you can kind of walk through those, but it talks about, my promise is leave your checkbook at home. We're going to, one financial problem will uncover and give you an idea of how to alleviate that. But if you got questions like what are your best rollover options for your company plan, you might want to mark yes. If you haven't had a true professional that works at Roth Conversions, give you ideas, maybe mark yes. Social Security. You may want to think about delaying Social Security. That I talk about here because I give them a free report if they want Social Security questions, and then I say, different benefits or different options of investments for you. You might want to mark yes. Inherited or stretch IRAs, inherited options. Yeah, a lot of people don't have that background. And lastly, just getting a second opinion from a true independent professional. That's what I offer. And then we go to the very last slide, and it says George Foreman. George Foreman. So we did 30 slides on this, but really there's 40 slides altogether. So we did about 2/3 of the slides here. But I'd say George Foreman, he was a great boxing champ. made a tremendous amount of money boxing. But you know where he made his most money through his lifetime? Someone says the George Foreman Grill, and I say that's correct. Any idea how much he was paid up front? Not counting the overrides that he's from each grill sold. He got paid a check for $136 million. And then I say, so unless your name is on a grill, you might as well mark yes and come in and see me. And then people laugh or they clap or whatever they do. But I make it kind of fun. That's why I've got some of those quotes in there. 401k IRA rollover on just 3,000 foot looking down is pretty darn simple. But when you get into the nitty gritty of it, it's very complicated. You're going in and no doubt that you're disturbing them when you're walking through this information. But what happens is that you are going in and giving them ideas they hadn't thought about before. And then you tell them that you'll pick up the sheets as they, dinner will be served in 5 minutes, and Craig or Amy or Lynn, I don't, but one of my administrators, they pick up the sheets. And of course, if you're a one-person shop, you would be doing it. You'd be picking up the sheets then. And then when you pick up all the sheets, then out come the salads or the dinners. So that is the basic seminar itself. Steve, I'm going to kind of jump this on over to you and see if there's any questions to answer, but hopefully we were kind of, with our participants today, that we were lockstep of where we were on the slides.
I think we did pretty well. I appreciate you dealing a little bit with the technical issues on your side, Dave, and appreciate all you out there bearing with us a little bit. Not sure what happened there, but I think we were able to get things done pretty well. Dave, I do have the slide up right now that kind of talks about Lazarus Coaching, kind of your expert in seminar marketing and seminars you presented, and the fact you're a producer. You want to run through those real quick? Or do you have that slide in front of you?
No, I don't, but you know what? I know it by heart. What happens is that, hey, Steve,
yes,
when
sir.
I talk about myself, I know all that stuff, okay?
Crazy me.
And I'm joking. Yeah, it's just wild, yeah. No, what happens is that I love producing. I mean, I'm a producer. I mean, 94% of my business comes in for production. When I coach someone, I'm not in their hierarchy. I don't get an override. I get paid. $150 per session for 5 sessions, which is very, very fair. And IAMS, as long as you qualify, I mean, you're going to write some business through IAMS, the FMO, which Steve co-owns. Then what happens is that IAMS pays for $555 of it. You pay $195. So that is extremely inexpensive to be able to use me, pick my brain, not just from the seminar marketing and coaching, but also from there on out. As long as you, from time to time are writing business through IAMS. So what happens is that the cost of a program like this is the mail outs. And we do some Facebook advertising now that we're doing through IAMS, which is very, very competitive pricing. But you're going to have, when you mail out 6,000 pieces at 55 cents a piece, and this is through our mail house. I mean, it's not in-house here, but it's a third-party mail house. It's a 8.5 by 17. It's a big piece. It's a triple fold, card stock, really full color, very impressive. Yeah, it costs 55 cents a piece. So you got $3,300, and then you have maybe $200-300 more in social media. So you're going to have $3,500, $3,600. There's $100 of that is going to cost for the 800 number, and then you've got your meals. And depending on how many people come, it runs between $600 and $1,000. So you've got $4,500 to $4,700 on a mealed seminar. So you need to go in, and your first $100,000 that you do is covering the cost. Everything after that is absolute gravy. And besides the $400,000 tomorrow, I've got 3 really good other second appointments. Or closing appointments that I'm working. I just sure that I'll have a couple more. So when people ask me how much money comes from a workshop like this, what I try to do is if I have $250,000 to $300,000 average, I'm as happy as a lark. This one's going to be bigger than this. It's going to be more because of a pretty good size, investment tomorrow. But this is a bit of a pay to play, and not everyone has $4,000 to invest within the seminar series. But when you have the blueprint that has been successful, there's not a guarantee there. But when you've got a coach, i.e. Dave Pimper, Lazarus Coaching, and I'm helping you step by step, it isn't a guarantee either, but it increases your success odds. And that's what we've learned. And Steve, in the beginning, you would have seminars, but not have coaching with those seminars. People would get a good seminar system, but they just wouldn't know how to use it. And so it's been quite a few years now, but I know that that's when you came in and said, we see the biggest production coming if you have a good seminar system and with the coaching to go with it. And that's the case that we do here.
Yeah, as you know, Dave, I really think having a good coach is the key. We had some success with seminars back 14, 15, 16 years ago when we just offered the seminar, made it available to folks. But the coaching has really been the thing that has helped us turn the corner, helped our producers turn the corner. So whether it's Social Security, so a lot of questions, Dave, have come up because you mentioned Social Security and your knowledge there. So there's 3 or 4 questions about Social Security. So you do both. You do the Social Security seminars and the 401k seminars. And I know that in the past you've made both available to folks that have wanted to do that because you do interchange between them, correct? You'll do the 401k and then you do the Social Security seminar. So you do both of them?
I do. Yep. Yeah, I do. And not at the same time, of course, but like this one, I've got on next Wednesday, I've got a Social Security workshop here in Fremont, my little town of Fremont. So Fremont's only 26,000. And so I have to really stretch out. Normally it's done over 2 nights, but I could only do a mailing of about, I think it was about 3,500 or 4,000 to my little town here. Normally I mail about 6,000 in Omaha when I go in, but I did a Social Security on Wednesday. And then 3 weeks ago, I just got done I did two, we got about 13 appointments from that 2 seminars off of 1 mailing, and that was in Omaha. So I normally do, and I got 2 other seminars too, Steve. As you know, I have an in-service seminar, and then I got 8 potential mistakes retirees make with the money. Normally, if I do 10 mailings a year, which is 19 or 18, 19, 20 workshops a year, I'll do all of them will be half Social Securities, half 401k, and then I do 1 of each of the other each year just to put a little variety in there.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And I know that your team, Craig and Amy and Lynn, they basically do a lot of the footwork. So they'll help to get the line set up. They'll help set up the demographics, help you find locations, actually set up the mailing for you. So it's a pretty full service. Certainly when you're getting started, I think that's important. And I really think that at each step of the way when you're, doing your presentation and getting a few tips there, asking for appointments, getting a few tips there, closing those appointments or closing appointments for the next appointment, get a few tips there. I think at every section of that, being more efficient and at the end, getting more people to the final, to the finish line where you're actually writing business is improved by coaching. And we've seen it over and over and over again. So that's why we don't offer seminars without coaching anymore. Hopefully you'll take advantage of that. Dave would probably, at least I've known him in the past, when somebody does a 401k seminar, he often makes the Social Security seminar available to them as well, although there's a lot of extra coaching involved in that. So it's having someone like Dave and his team on your side, if the seminars is of interest to you, best deal in the industry, in my opinion. So if it is of something of interest, I put the poll up for you there already. If you have interest, simply click yes. Dave's team will make a phone call to you, set up a call with Dave. Dave would make the same promise to you that he makes to all of his folks that attend seminars, which you'll get some good, useful information, whether you decide to do business or not. You'll get some good, useful information that you can use in your business every day. And if you're wanting to do seminars and include that as part of your business, I really don't think there's a better choice. The only reason that IAMS doesn't pay for all the coaching is we would like to have the individual have some initial investment in the process. But you and I and everybody online here knows that once we get you up and producing, that just becomes such a minor thing. But initially we like to have, a couple $100 of your money in the game. So it's a great opportunity for you. I see that almost all of you have voted and got a lot of interest. So I appreciate that from you. The questions, Dave, that are popping up or had popped up earlier along the way, there's a couple that are real specific. So I'm going to send you those and you can get in touch with the folks.
Okay.
More general ones have to do with costs, which I think you've kind of gone over that. And maybe if you can talk a little bit, you mentioned that if you get $200,000 to $300,000, that's a pretty good seminar for you. What do you see on average? if you're going to break it down and say it's about what I get. And I know that you're really super realistic, because you're like me. We don't want anybody going into this with any false hopes about what they can expect. What do you think realistically people can expect from seminars?
As far as production?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if you're just doing fixed indexed, in life, I mean, I'm an investment guy, but there's a lot of other products you can show off of a seminar like this, from med subs to long-term care to, but I set this up as an investment. That's what I'm looking for. For me, I mean, I want to get 250 to 300,000. That's important to me to get that much. Sometimes it's much more. It certainly can be less, but I would say that, a fixed index, if you're at a 6% and you do 100,000, that's 6,000, and it's going to cost you 4,500 to put this on. You'd hope to bring in more than that. You'd hope to bring in a couple 100,000. But for me, 250 to 300,000, that's important for me to bring on in. That makes it well worth my time, and money and investment to go in and to do this. And normally from that too, now that brand new client, there's more referrals down the road. There could be more money down the road. So it isn't just the upfront money, but it's also what the trail is on it too,
You betcha. Yeah, that's really what I was going to mention, because our experience with guys that do seminars is that the reason that they kind of find their way to the top of the production charts is because they're constantly seeing people and doing business with clients they've known now for 2 or 3 or 4 years from a seminar that they met, or doing some business with somebody that they met at a seminar a year ago that didn't do business then but's doing business now. So there's a momentum that goes on with seminars as well. But it's nice, as Dave mentioned, when you can kind of count on writing a couple to 300,000. You're going to do that business. You're going to pay for your seminar, pay for your time, and then build your client base up with good quality clients. I mean, there's a reason why so many good producers do seminars. So if you haven't considered it, I hope you will. If it's 401k, Social Security, what have you, whatever you decide is the best fit for you, IAMS would certainly like to help you. Dave, is there anything that you want to say as we close out for the day?
Well, I appreciate everybody's time, and I hope I can talk to a lot of you, give you some ideas. If you marked yes on the poll, because the poll went up, didn't it, Steve?
It did, yep.
Yeah, okay, good. So is it still up or not?
It is, as we speak.
Okay, yeah. So if you're still with us, I can't see how many are. I know we had a lot of people though. I know that from who was signed up. But if you mark yes, I'll sit down for 25, 30 minutes. It'll be me, not one of my associates, but it'll be myself, and we'll just see if seminar marketing could fit into your marketing structure. It's not for everyone, and it certainly does cost money to do seminars. But if you think seminars are a thing of the past, or they don't work anymore, I would say that if you take, and not just IAMS, but if you take almost any FMO and you look at the top 20 largest producers, Steve, wouldn't you say that probably the common thread is a lot of those people do public seminars?
Yeah, that would be the most common means by which people get to that top group. So if you took the top 20 in any one group, you'd probably find that 12 to 13 of them did seminars, and the other 6 or 7 of them probably do something that's none of those are the same. They're all something different. Something's,
That's right.
But seminars is
right.
one of the mains. Yeah.
I would think so too. I mean, it could, the other few they might do radio. They could be doing television. They could be doing referrals. They could be doing, networking off of large corporations, whoever knows. But the most common thread of a higher end producer probably is giving one presentation to a lot of qualified prospects. That's what you're doing. So this is a system, and IAMS pays for the majority of the coaching. So please mark yes. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to sit down on the phone, and one of our administrators, Craig or Lynn or Amy, will call, line up a good time for both of us, and we'll go from there. So I hope I can talk to a lot of you here in the near future.
Fantastic, Dave. Thank you again for your time, and thank you all of our attendees for their time. We really, here at IAMS, people that are willing to grow their business and learn more and are actively looking for ways to do better for themselves and their clients. Those are the types of people that we want to work with, and we know that's what you are if you're here today. So let IAMS be part of that let us help you. We're here to do just that. And give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. We'd love to work with you as well. So have a great finish to your production week. Happy Halloween. Have a great evening. If you have kids, be careful. And if you don't have kids, enjoy the Halloween festivities. Have a great day. And again, thank you for your business.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Steve?
Yes.
I have Dave Pimper for you on part 2.
Great. Thank you.